What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. This one is going to be a good one because we have hot off the press something that many of you most likely have not heard about. However, it was shared with me, and I'm going to share it with you because it is so good, I can't not share it. When I first was presented with this, I actually didn't believe it to be true. So I was about to dismiss it. And I decided, you know what, let me look into it a little bit. Let me see if there's any facts around this. And not only did I find the facts to support this absolutely mental story, but I actually found even more disturbing information. So chime in, let me know where you're tuning in from. If you are from Massachusetts, let me know. Chime in, let me know. If you are from Chicago or Illinois, let me know. Because this one, and you might want to share this one. I mean, you might want to watch and then share. So let me know where you're tuning in from in this great nation. I want to know, shout yourself out. If you got a favorite team you want to shout out, give them a shout out too. Why not? Let's do it. And if you're tuning in from outside this great nation, let me know where you're tuning in from. All right? All right, so here we go. Some of you may or may not have heard about some of the changes in some of the policies around crime that are currently going on. As some of you may know, those of you who have a brain in between your ears, crime is skyrocketing across the country. In some cities, crime is up over 400%. Now, the Department of Justice just made an announcement about a certain crime. Now, it's a crime that most of you have probably not heard about, but they've actually tapped the FBI to assist them with this crime. And apparently it's very troubling, and apparently it's a big deal. And now, if you've heard of this, please, I want you to chime in and let me know that you've heard of this, okay? If you have children and your school has a Board of Education, let me know. Just chime in. Just put BOE, okay? So, recently, the DOJ has now tapped the FBI to investigate certain parents that are going against their Board of Education about certain things like, the things being taught in school, things being taught in health class, that have nothing to do with, education. They don't have anything to do with math or English or history or anything like that. They're just these wild, outrageous, there's 72 genders and things like that, and critical race theory, all these things, right? Like when we were in school, it was math, science, history, social studies, language arts, things like that, right? But now it's way beyond that. So these parents are now attending these these school board meetings, and they're upset. They're like, hey, what's going on? Why are my kids learning about pornography and all this stuff? And, rightfully so. Some of these kids are, 5th, 6th grade, and these parents are wondering, hey, what's going on? Why are we teaching, our children all this nonsense? I'm sending my kids to school to learn about math and science and, things like that. Now, these parents who are going to these school board meetings can, in some places, be tagged as domestic terrorists. That's right. If you are outspoken or too outspoken or show too much emotion toward members of a Board of Education for not properly educating your child or educating your child on things that you as a parent don't want your child hearing in school. Now you are the bad person. You might be tagged a domestic terrorist. And now members of the school board who are protecting these certain things are a protected class. And you can go look this up yourself. I'm not making it up. I mean, I have it on the paper right here. I have it right here on the computer screen. So those people, and now some politicians have outright said, and once again, you can go on the YouTube, go on the Google, onto the interwebs, and Google this yourself. There are some politicians that are saying parents have no right to interfere with the happenings and the going-ons of the school board and what's going on inside the schools. That's up to the teachers, and the parents have no right to intervene and have a say in what their children are learning and what the teachers are teaching. They have no say at all. And now there's some people, politicians, that are saying that. It's on video. They're not even trying to hide it, which is even more troubling. If they try to hide it, it's one thing, and they try to kind of backdoor it. But now they're not even trying to do that. They're actually just outright saying, you as a parent have no business and no concern with what your children are learning in school. None of your business. How dare you even ask what we're teaching your child? And when you do discover what we're teaching your child, how dare you try to impose your will and your wishes on us? Blasphemy. So those people, in many cases, and in some cases now, can be charged criminally because these members of these board organizations are now protected group. And they have said, and this is right on the website, on the interwebs, that they can potentially use the Patriot Act to now gain evidence against some of these rogue parents. The Patriot Act, put in place after 9/11. The Patriot Act to get information on some of these parents and potentially, I guess, arrest them, criminal charges. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Parents who are just going to board meetings to say, hey, what's going on here? Okay. But it gets better. Now, here's where it gets good. Here is where it gets good. A woman by the name of Ms. Rollins, who is now running and trying to get the top prosecutor seat in the state of Massachusetts. Ms. Rollins has put forth a dossier. You can Google this. It's on the interwebs. And look at what this woman, Ms. Rollins, has said that she feels are crimes that should never be prosecuted. And now she's saying that these things should be dismissed prior to even arraignment. Dismissed prior to arraignment. And there was a list, about 15 things, that in the state of Massachusetts, she feels should not be prosecuted and dismissed prior to arraignment. And in her words, listen, I've now watched about 3 different videos on this, and I've read about 7 different articles. This is coming directly from those things, and you can go check them out for yourself. Here we go. Now, mind you, DOJ, FBI, parents, crime, board of education meetings, speaking up about what their children are learning. Crime, criminal, domestic terror. However, in the state of Massachusetts, Ms. Rollins said you would always, always, always deny charges for the following offenses. Offense 1, trespassing. Trespassing, meaning that if someone came onto your property and did not leave, there would be no charges pressed against them. Trespassing. Now, this also entails not just someone coming into your property, but someone coming inside your property. When someone enters your home and they're not wanted there, they're trespassing. Someone comes onto your property, right? Spent many years as an officer responding to calls for trespassing. No charges. No charges. Shoplifting. Now, we've all seen the videos of, the people in California, San Francisco, going into stores, just pulling up garbage bags and garbage cans, loading them up with merchandise and leaving, right? No charges being pressed, right? Shoplifting. So you can just walk into a store, steal whatever you want. If the police were there to arrest you, they arrest you, but the charges would be dropped and you would not be charged. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay? Disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct. So someone goes into your home, your business, what have you, and starts acting a fool. Maybe breaking things, foul language, screaming, whatever. Disorderly conduct, no more charges. Done. No more. Can you imagine being a store owner or being a homeowner and have some crazy person come in, cause a ruckus, and they don't get charged? They're free to go. They're free to go. We're going to talk about don't get charged, free to go, about something that just happened in Chicago. It's going to blow your mind. Larceny. Okay, larceny. Disturbing the peace, well, that's kind of along the lines of disorderly conduct. Receiving stolen property. Receiving stolen property, you won't get charged. So if you knowingly and willingly receive stolen merchandise from someone, you know it's stolen. No more charges. This is going to be great. I mean, it might be a reason to move to Massachusetts right now if you're a criminal. Driving while suspended. I mean, what's the big deal? You're driving with a suspended license. So you kill someone with your car, you run over a family with your car, and you don't have a license. No big deal, right? Driving with, and most people, I'll tell you from my experience as an officer, most people who are driving with a suspended license, their license is suspended because of DWI. So you drive while you're drunk, you put people's lives at risk, and your license gets suspended. And you just keep driving, because if you get caught driving with a suspended license, you probably just be driving drunk with a suspended license. Well, no big deal. It's okay. It's fine. You won't get charged. Dismissed. Always dismissed. Pre-arraignment. Let's see. Breaking and entering into an occupied or unoccupied structure to escape the cold. Let me say that again. Breaking and entering into a structure, occupied or unoccupied, to escape the cold. So, in Massachusetts, she wants that if it is cold out, it's okay for you to break into an abandoned home, which maybe no one would mind except the building owner who's not there on site, so long as maybe you didn't damage anything, you didn't take the pipes. But also breaking and entering into an occupied structure to escape the cold. So if you're living in Massachusetts and someone just breaks into your back door and says, it's cold out, I am sleeping in your back room here, the police might come, and it's also trespassing. If the police showed up, if they're not defunded, they would come and they would maybe remove that person. However, that person would not be charged with a crime for breaking into your house solely because it was cold out. No charges, always denied. I know you think I'm making this up. I'm not. And this is not a big deal. This one, minors possessing alcohol. Underage possessing alcohol, no charges. No charge. That won't lead to any kind of ripple effect at all, right? Right? So if like teenagers realize that they can possess alcohol, be drunk, act disorderly, trespass, break into someone's house because it's cold out after shoplifting food, no charges whatsoever. No charges for underage possession and any of the above. But it gets better. Possession of marijuana. Now, marijuana is legal in a lot of places, so no big deal, right? Possession of marijuana, fine. However, typically, and I saw this a lot, typically, when you possess so much marijuana and you possess paraphernalia that indicates that you are distributing marijuana, it's not for personal use, you are a drug dealer, you have the little baggies, you have the scale, you have other things that are indicative that you are selling marijuana. It's, the charge I would charge people with is possession with the intent to distribute, right? And now that would be completely okay in the state of Massachusetts, according to Ms. Rollins. You can have a whole bunch of marijuana on you, have it all chopped up, little baggies, scale, you could even have labels, you could do the whole nine. It's absolutely okay, according to Ms. Rollins. There will be no charges, and anything will be dismissed pre-arraignment. So, you could have someone with a whole bunch of marijuana, all chopped up in the baggies, scale, cash, the whole nine, hanging out in a schoolyard, trying to sell drugs to young children. And this person would walk away. No charges, always denied. Not my words, her words. Right here, you can Google it yourself. And it's her document. It's not a document that someone wrote. She wrote it. Her name's on it. Now, possession of marijuana, okay, right? We said weed's legal in a lot of places, but she also said possession of non-marijuana. Now, what does non-marijuana mean? Doesn't non-marijuana mean everything else besides marijuana? Well, that too. Crack rocks, cocaine, heroin, meth. I guess it's all okay. Because they're all not marijuana. Possession of non-marijuana drugs, dismissed, pre-arraignment, denied, always, never, under any circumstances, even if there are other crimes, and this is verbatim from her, Ms. Rollins, running for the top prosecutor spot in the state of Massachusetts, even if there are other crimes connected to that offense, the offense will be dismissed. Okay. And lastly, in the state of Massachusetts, under Ms. Rollins, resisting arrest, you will not be charged. I mean, that's not going to cause any issues. I mean, it's not like resisting arrest has caused any issues in our country over the last 24 months, right? It hasn't led to anything bad. Resisting arrest, you just go ahead and resist arrest. Here in Massachusetts, you could trespass after shoplifting, break into someone's home, act disorderly, be in possession of enough drugs to supply a whole elementary school, and more. And when the police come to arrest you for these charges that are all going to be dropped, you can resist arrest. And according to Ms. Rollins, the charges will always be denied. Pre-arraignment, dropped. Because this, according to her, this is a person going for the top prosecutor spot in the state of Massachusetts. According to her, These are crimes that should never be prosecuted. Don't warrant prosecution. The people should be let go. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you like. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Doesn't matter. I know, and you're lying to yourself and anyone that you might say this to. I know for a fact that if I came to your home and I trespassed on your front lawn and then I broke into your home, I broke a bunch of stuff, I stole from you, and then I sold your kids some weed and some meth as I walked out the door. And then when the police came, because you called the police, because you said, there's this crazy guy, it's cold out, he broke into my house, he's trespassing, he wouldn't get off my lawn, then he breaks into my house, and he's busting up the place, and he's stealing from me, and he stole from my little store next door, and shoplifting, and he's acting disorderly. And he also is selling drugs to my children while they're in their room. And he's got all kinds of drugs on him. And then I need the police here to get this guy out of my house. And the police, miraculously, they show up because she also supports defunding the police. And they go to arrest me. And I now fight and I resist arrest. I ultimately, if they do arrest me, go to court. And when you show up to court and say, that's the guy, he broke into my house and he stole my Cheetos and he took my iPhone charger and he sold my kid drugs. All charges dismissed. You are free to go. It's that simple, folks, according to Ms. Rollins in Massachusetts. It's pretty incredible. Once again, please don't trust. Verify yourself what I just shared with you. It's all out there for you to read yourself. Now, let's talk about, we're going to end this on something even more incredible. We're talking about trespassing, and we're talking about, shoplifting and possession of drugs, every other drug besides marijuana. Who knows? But you can say, okay, that list is whatever. Is anyone really getting hurt? Does anyone really get hurt? Come on. Right? You might say that. Larceny, disorderly conduct, all this stuff, right? Now, let's look at Dateline Chicago, where 5 people who were involved in a deadly gang shootout in which I believe 2 people were killed and others were mortally wounded, very severely wounded. Of the 5 people involved in this shooting that were arrested, gang shooting, couple people dead, couple people seriously injured, they may still die. 5 people were arrested and charged with murder, attempted murder, and murder, first-degree murder. Felonies, including first-degree murder. This is coming right from the verified police report. It's on the interwebs. Go ahead. Numerous felonies, including first-degree murder. 5 people. The state's attorney said the prosecutors have determined that this was what they're calling a situation of mutual combatants, meaning that both sides, this gang and this gang, both mutually agreed to enter into this shootout, this gunfight, and the resulting people who died or who are on their way to death is just a result of mutual combat. So these 5 people will not be charged. You can look it up yourself. Let's see where Dateline. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Chicago, but it was in the Chicago Sun-Times, but I'm trying to figure out what neighborhood in Chicago. Chicago, it's like every neighborhood. It's like, they call it Chirac for a reason. So, all 5 people, mutual combat, all dismissed. Incredible. Now, same thing. There was a 17-year-old that stabbed an 18-year-old to death. A 17-year-old boy stabbed an 18-year-old man to death once again in a gang fight. Killed him. Dead. Completely dead. Prosecutor said no charges. This was a mutual combat situation where both parties entered into this scuffle, this disagreement, on their own accord. So now, in Chicago, if you approach somebody, maybe you don't like them, maybe you got a beef with them, and they, instead of walking away, they engage you to maybe defend themselves, stick up for themselves, right? Protect themselves, and they engage you. Now, this is called mutual combat. And should that person kill you, they won't be charged. They will not be charged. They're a mutual combatant. Once again, if you don't believe me, just go check it out. Chicago Sun-Times. It's all over the news. NBC5 Chicago. It's pretty incredible. Now, let's not forget, these people, trespassing, shoplifting, disorderly conduct, stolen property, driving while suspended, breaking and entering, possession of weed, possession of drugs other than weed, resisting arrest, murder, you're free to go. No charges. However, don't you dare go to that school board meeting and go up to that mic where you have your 2 minutes to speak. Make sure you're wearing your mask. Don't you dare, don't go up there without your mask. But on top of that, don't you dare go up to that mic and say anything about what your children are learning, the manner in which it's being taught, or anything even close to that. Because if you do, for that, you'll end up in jail. Okay, no. We're not in the Twilight Zone. You're not in some kind of nightmare. No, this is real. You're in real life. You're watching this. Either you're watching this on social media or you're maybe post-production watching this on YouTube. Either way, it's pretty incredible. Please verify everything I shared today. And please leave a comment and let me know if any of this you agree with. If you do agree with anything you heard here, that like not being charged for murder is okay as long as it's mutual combatant, and breaking, entering, and stealing, and assaulting and resisting arrest, all that's okay. If you believe that, please send me your address. I would like to share your address with a few people who need some stuff and they want to get some stuff without being arrested or charged. So let me know. God bless America, whatever's left of it.